All right. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to break up this screencast into a couple of sections so that you can go directly to information that you might be looking for. This first section is over assignments and reminders and some clarification on grading for homework that also applies to the exam that's coming up next week. So, as you saw this morning, I released and published grades on Gradescope for your homework 1. The regrade request window is currently open for 48 hours starting from 9 o'clock this morning. I know several of you have already started submitting regrade requests, and there's more information in the announcement email that I sent out with all of that information. If you have questions about it as you're working through the regrade requests, let me know. I'll wait until that 48-hour has been completed before we go through and start awarding points back. So that you have the corrected answers available to you for study, I will post the key to homework 1 after that 48-hour window has passed. So as you're thinking towards studying preparation for exam 1 next week on the 6th, that information will be available to you. We're having a sort of disrupted class period today because of the closure on campus, but I wanted to remind you about some other things that are coming up. So on Thursday, we're going to go ahead and proceed with starting the case study after we do a recap of the information that I'm going to cover with the screencasts. So there's a few things that you need to pay attention to regarding the case study. One is the pre-quiz, which is due January 29th, which is tomorrow at midnight. Again, with this pre-quiz, I'm interested in your current kind of starting point with how you're understanding the material so that I can measure learning gains. So take that quiz, don't use your notes, just choose answers that you think are correct. And I'll record that starting point. After I've got that information, I'll award 10 points to everybody for taking the quiz. For preparing for class on Thursday and finishing up the case study material on the following Tuesday, you should watch the polymerase chain reaction video that's posted in the module section on Canvas. There's also a PDF called AIDS and a Dentist that you should read, and there are 2 book sections that you should pay attention to that cover a little bit of mutation, a little bit of molecular methods that will help provide some background for the information we'll cover in class. I am planning to bring some paper copies of the case study handout to class based on your responses for the practice homework submission. If you remember back, there's a little checkbox that you indicated whether you preferred a paper copy in class or an electronic copy in class. So I'll bring some copies. If you change your mind based on your submission on that initial homework assignment, send me a quick email. I'll have some extras, but I'm not planning to print out 140 copies of the case study unless I need to. If you want to work with the case study worksheet in class, it's going to look very similar to the Gradescope submissions for the homework assignments. So if you like to fill those out on an iPad or something like that, or use a fillable form on a computer, like on your laptop, that should all work the same. So it's going to look really similar, really familiar, but I will have some paper copies if you need them. And then the other thing to be paying attention to is homework 2. So homework 2 is going to focus on the material that I covered today, which is why I definitely wanted to get you the screencast out so that you have it as you're working on that homework. This is going to be due next Sunday, 11:59 p.m. There is a late submission window for that homework like normal, but because we are coming up to our first exam on the 6th, there's no regrade request window. Again, after the late submission window and giving 48 hours for people to put in regrade requests to get points back, there's just not enough time for me to give you the keyed out information so you have the correct answers to study from. So the trade-off with that is that the homework assignments due right before exams don't have a regrade request window. As always, if you see incorrect grading, you should let me know about that, but I'll make sure you have the key posted after that late submission window has passed for homework 2. And then last but not least, on the announcements to keep track of, we have our first exam next Thursday. It'll be in class, in person. I'll walk through the specific details of that next Tuesday. But if you have any accommodations that you need, if you need to enroll with the ADRC, make sure that this class is listed on your list of classes with accommodations so that we can make those arrangements for you. Okay. So one of the things that students often need a little bit more background on is how I actually go about grading the multiple choice questions that appear on the homework and on the exam. Again, homework is meant to be basically like a practice exam. It's graded the exact same way as exams are. The same kinds of questions appear on the homework. And this is with the goal of giving you a really realistic idea of how to study the information relative to what I'm going to ask you about. Grading in particular is a little bit different from what you might have seen in the past. So typically with multiple choice grading, we have a question that might look like this. What molecule stores genetic information? It's worth 2 points, and you have multiple choices that you can choose from. In this case, perhaps the correct answer is missed. So we know that DNA stores genetic material, genetic information. Maybe the student chose protein instead of DNA. In this case, with kind of an all or nothing grading scheme, this answer choice would lose all credit assigned to that particular question. So this would result in -2 points. That is not how I grade multiple choice questions. I grade over here according to this grading scheme where we have multiple choice, multiple answer grading. Same question, same point total assigned to the question, and the same answer choices are available. But instead of kind of grading in an all or nothing sort of manner, each one of these blanks is worth a component or a part of this whole 2-point total. So there's 4 answer choices here. That means that each of these answer choices is worth 0.5 points. DNA is still the correct answer. So if this person answered the same way and chose protein instead of DNA, 0.5 points would be deducted for the missed correct answer. 0.5 points would be deducted for the missed answer that was included incorrectly. But you'd still gain the points for recognizing that lipids and carbohydrates are not storing genetic information. So grading in this way, this allows me to give you partial credit for recognizing answers that shouldn't be included as correct. And instead of missing 2 points, you'd miss 1 point for this. So -0.5 for not choosing DNA, -0.5 for choosing the wrong answer. So hopefully that helps clarify things as you're looking through your answers on Gradescope for the homework. And this also kind of gives you an idea of what's coming for the exam 1. All right, so this is the end of this screencast. This is going to be posted separately from the course content, just to kind of keep things in bite-sized sections.